we're sewing the Kendall Set by Retro Sparkle Designs, let's start with our pattern pieces. You'll need 2 back bodice top pieces, 2 shorts pieces, 1 waistband piece, 2 front bodice pieces, 1 in main, 1 in lining, 2 back bottom bodice pieces, 2 outer skirt pieces, and 2 inner skirt pieces. Now we're moving on to step 1. Let's take our main and liner front pieces and our main and liner back top pieces, and we're going to place them right sides together with their coordinating piece. Then we're going to sew along the shoulder seam of both bodices. Now that our pieces look like this, we're going to open up our main and liner bodice pieces and we will place them right sides together. Then you can pin or clip all the way around the neckline and sew or serge. Now that the neck hole has been fully sewn, we're going to feed the liner through the hole, and now we have a finished neck. We are now going to use the burrito roll method to finish the arm side. So we're going to take the right side of the bodice and roll it all the way over to the left side, rolling as tightly as possible. Then we're going to separate the main and liner fabric and we're going to place them right sides together, sandwiching the right side of the bodice in between. Using clips to keep the pieces lined up, we're going to place that main and liner right sides together and sew all the way along that arm side. Make sure that when you're sewing, you're careful not to catch the opposite side of the bodice in the seam. If you struggle with doing so on your serger, feel free to use your sewing machine for this step. Now that that arm side is completed, we're going to pull the bodice out from the hole and we will turn the top right sides out. Now we will complete the same process again on the opposite side of the bodice to finish that arm side. Here's another view of how I'm completing the burrito roll method. So I'm taking the completed arm side of the bodice and rolling it nice and tight, and then separating the main and liner on the unfinished arm side and placing them right sides together with the finished side of the bodice sandwiched in between. Now both arm sides are finished, so we're going to pull the bodice out right sides out. Now we're going to use the burrito roll method one more time to finish the back top part of the bodice. So we're going to take the front and roll it up as small and as tight as possible in order to make this step a little easier. Roll it all the way up until you get to the back seam. And then you're going to take the back main and liner and place them right sides together, sandwiching the front bodice in the middle. Pin and clip along this seam, and then we'll sew. This step is a little tricky because of how much is sandwiched in between the back bodice top. So I brought you over to my serger to show you how I did it while making sure to keep that front bodice sandwiched and back away from the seam. Another way to do this, if you're struggling, is to pull the front bodice down and out of the way as you're sewing the seam so that it doesn't get caught. And then once you get to the very bottom, you'll just sew and finish that seam right there while you've pulled most of the front bodice out of the way. Then we'll pull the front bodice all the way through and turn the bodice right sides out. Next, we're going to grab our lower back main and liner pieces and attach those. Making sure that our main is right sides together with our front main, we're going to clip the top edge of the back main to the back top. Now we're going to take our back lower liner piece and place it down right sides facing the back main lower piece, sandwiching the back upper bodice in between, and then we'll sew across that entire seam. Your bodice should now look like this. Now we're going to finish the side seams. So we'll open up the front and back of the bodice and place them right sides together with their corresponding pieces. Main right sides together with main and liner right sides together with liner. And then we'll sew along that entire side seam and repeat with the other side as well. Now that our side seams are sewn, we're going to pull the main down over the top of the liner to turn the top right sides out. Both sides of the top should be finished now. We're now on the last step of finishing the Kendall top. We're going to fold the main and liner raw edges up at the bottom 1/4 inch towards each other and then clip all the way around. This will ensure that our top is fully reversible. I'll show that a little closer here. Once you've folded the main and liner in 1/4 inch and pinned all the way around, you're going to go ahead and sew all the way around the bottom of the bodice to hem it. Make sure while you're sewing that both the main and the liner pieces stay folded under 1/4 inch as you're sewing so that your top is fully reversible. Now our top is complete, so it's going to be time to start working on the bottoms of the Kendall set. We'll start with the assembly of the shorts. So we're going to take our short pieces and lay them on top of each other with right sides together. Then we'll sew along both curved sides of the shorts. Now that those seams are complete, we're going to take the shorts and arrange them so the seams are on top of each other. Then we will line up the bottom inseam of the shorts and sew across the entire inseam. Now we'll turn the shorts right sides out and we will fold up the bottom raw edge of the legs 1/4 inch, clip all the way around, and then sew to hem. Now the shorts part of the bottom is complete, so we'll take that and set it aside. Then we're going to take our bottom skirt layer and place both of those two pieces on top of each other, right sides together. Then we're going to sew across both straight edges. And we're going to repeat that step for the top skirt layer. So taking those two pieces and placing them right sides together, then sewing across those two straight edges. Now our top layer and our bottom layers of the skirt are complete. The last thing we need to do is fold up the raw edge of both skirts 1/2 inch and hem them all the way around. You'll do this for both the top layer and the bottom layer skirt. Now the layers of our skirt are complete, and we'll set both of those aside while we assemble the waistband. We're going to take the waistband and fold it in half in length, right sides together, clip along that small side, and sew. Next, we're going to fold the waistband in half in width, lining up those raw edges, and then we'll clip in quarters. Now we're going to assemble the bottoms. So we're going to take the shorts and the bottom skirt layer, place the bottom skirt layer over the top of the shorts, making sure that the wrong side of the skirt is touching the right sides of the shorts. Then we're going to clip that waist opening in quarters. I personally like to go ahead and quarter the skirt opening prior to laying it on top of the shorts. Next, we'll take the top skirt piece and place it over the top of the bottoms with the wrong side of the top skirt touching the right side of the bottom skirt. Clip around that entire waist in quarters as well. Make sure that when you're clipping these pieces together that all of your side seams line up to each other and that the front seam of your shorts is in line with the front of the skirt and the back seam is in line with the back of the skirt. Lastly, we're going to line our quartered waistband up with our quartered bottoms by placing it down, upside down over the top of the bottoms. Line it up and clip in place, making sure that you have all 4 layers clipped. During this step, if you have a tag to add, go ahead and add it in there now. Then we're going to sew all the way around to finish that seam. Because you're sewing through so many layers on this step, make sure that all the layers are in line and that you sew or serge as slowly as necessary to make sure you catch every single layer of fabric in that seam. Now we'll flip that waistband up and we're finished with our bottoms. And that's the Kendall set. Can't wait to see yours. Make sure to share your makes in the Facebook group.